这是这党务今天率领部族是干，
还有现在
干了民间人物证明我是率领是干，
摇着啥？摇着啥？
上令，
下去！
干了，
干！
干了，我们进来了，干了。
怎么打你妈嘞？
警察给我要打我嘞，他是。
Zheng Mi, a 25-year-old actress and model from Hunan, had always lived a glamorous professional life with a solid income. But recently, her reality changed drastically. 7 months pregnant and with no source of income, she began suffering from bleeding and had to be urgently hospitalized to protect the pregnancy. When she arrived at the hospital, Zheng Mi was visibly weak. Her blood-stained sheets alarmed the doctors and nurses. One of them, noticing the severity of the situation, warned that the bleeding was intense, and considering how far along she was, both her life and the baby's were at serious risk. With a trembling voice and hollow eyes, Zheng Mi broke down in front of reporters. She said she didn't know what to do anymore. Her husband's family, she claimed, didn't care and hadn't given her a single cent to help. She explained that she had to kneel and beg her mother-in-law several times until she finally received 5,000 yuan to pay for the hospital. In the hospital room, pale and exhausted, she recalled calling her husband Liu Ji in desperation 3 days earlier, pleading for help due to the bleeding. But instead of helping, he vanished. With no other options, she and her mother went to his mother's house. After much pleading and tears shed on her knees, they were finally given the money needed for her treatment. Since then, Zheng Mi has not held back her criticisms of both her husband and mother-in-law. But is that really the full story? Her mother-in-law, Mrs. Li, offered a different version. She strongly denied abandoning Zheng and said that she and her son had been caring for her attentively since the hospitalization. Even so, she admitted that her son had indeed made many mistakes. When the reporter found Liu Jie in the hospital hallway, he looked visibly nervous. He denied all of his wife's accusations. According to him, he had never abandoned Zheng and had been there every day, doing his best to help. He claimed she was unreasonable, demanding, and difficult to deal with. When asked about the money for the hospital, Liu gave vague answers. He didn't confirm nor deny that Zheng had to beg for it. Instead, he suggested they go to the Dongshan police station to clear things up. As soon as he learned that his wife could be discharged, he rushed to handle the paperwork and took her home. But peace was nowhere to be found. Once home, the couple was constantly at each other's throats. Even with the baby nearly due and the marriage just a few months old, Zheng Mi asked for a divorce. She justified her decision by saying her husband was lazy, had no steady job, and that she had been covering all the household expenses. She claimed she had already spent around 200,000 yuan, combining the dowry from her family and her own savings. Faced with these accusations, Liu remained silent. Zheng explained that right after the wedding, Liu had promised to work, but quit after less than a week. Not only did he not earn money, he came back in debt. And when she needed him the most, during a medical crisis in her pregnancy, he simply disappeared. She even revealed a shocking episode. Liu had pretended to be sick, biting his own lip to spit blood and trick his mother into giving him money. That money, she said, he later spent on himself. Mrs. Li confirmed this story and that it wasn't the first time he had done something like that. Cornered by both his wife and mother, Liu snapped. He slammed the door, shouted at Zheng from a distance, then stormed back into the apartment, furious. Moments later, in the hallway, he started throwing accusations. He claimed that since their wedding, Zheng had brought strange men home, and that they frequently fought over it. He even showed photos of her, visibly pregnant, wearing provocative clothes at bars and clubs, something he couldn't accept. Liu said he didn't believe her profession was respectable, though he avoided going into detail. He explained that their marriage and pregnancy happened within just 3 months, without an emotional foundation. Only later did he learn she had been previously married. The apartment they lived in was a gift from her ex-husband. He also revealed that Zheng had left home at 13, cut ties with her father, and built a career as an actress and model. And while she made good money, it left him feeling emasculated. The revealing clothes she wore for work only worsened his discomfort. He admitted to living off her money but denied spending the full 200,000 yuan. Even with all their issues, he said he didn't want a divorce because of the baby. Now calmer, Zhang Mi showed reporters her photo albums. She proudly said she began working at 18, and after 7 years of dedication, she had earned a solid reputation. Her monthly income ranged from 20,000 to 80,000 yuan. She said she had never asked whether her husband or mother-in-law supported her career, she just assumed they did. Regarding the men she had brought home, she said they were employees of her company, and that her mother-in-law had been present both times. As for the bars, she explained that she only went out after a fight with her husband and needed a way to clear her head. The reporters urged her to think about the baby and avoid making impulsive decisions. But just a few days later, she was hospitalized again for another episode of bleeding. During this second stay, a roommate told reporters that Zhang was difficult, often loud and aggressive, and treated her mother-in-law like a maid. Despite the mistreatment, the mother-in-law never retaliated. Why did she tolerate all of it? Mrs. Li said her son had already failed in 2 marriages, and she still hoped the third one could work. But her daughter-in-law's career caused constant suspicion and tension. Liu Ji, meanwhile, spoke of his previous marriages with a dismissive tone, as if none of it really mattered to him. The reporters pressed him to take responsibility for his family. At that moment, Zhang Mi's mother arrived at the hospital. Listening to her daughter cry, she comforted her and admitted that perhaps she had failed in raising her, which now reflected in her troubled marriage. Still, she believed that if her son-in-law changed, there might be hope for the relationship. To try and mediate, the reporters called in Zhou Meihong, a professional counselor. She pointed out that Liu's biggest failure was never stepping up as a provider. But she also highlighted Zhang's flaws. Her difficult personality and the nature of her job made communication between the two nearly impossible. With the baby about to be born, Zhu encouraged Zhang to give her husband one more chance. Seeing signs of regret in Liu and thinking about the baby's future, Zhang agreed to negotiate. They drew up an agreement. Liu would find a job and send her 1,000 yuan a month for 3 months. In return, she would focus on her pregnancy and manage her emotions. It wasn't a happy ending, but perhaps a new beginning. Both had acknowledged their mistakes. Now it remains to be seen whether they can keep their promises and give their child a stable home. What do you think about this marriage? Leave your opinion in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support is what keeps me motivated to bring you more stories like this. In the end, this story exposes a harsh truth. Lack of character has no gender. Both the husband and the wife made mistakes, each in their own way. But if we take a step back and look at it more coldly, it was kind of expected. A woman who lives in this kind of environment, constantly exposed, partying, and chasing appearance and validation, honestly, it's hard to believe she's ready to be a mother. And the truth no one wants to say out loud is, that child might not even be his. Deep down, this man is just facing the consequences of his own choice. He picked a partner based on looks and status, and now he's paying the price: instability, mistrust, and a life full of chaos. And this isn't just about men. Many women make the same mistake, choosing a partner just to show off, whether it's the car he drives or the size of his bank account. But in the end, reality hits, and it usually hurts. Relationships aren't trophies. If you start one just to impress others, chances are you'll end up trying to hide your regret. What about you? Do you think this marriage can still be saved, or was it doomed from the start? If you like this video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. See you in the next video.